Welcome back, everyone! Let's see now. Is there two bodies on top of each other? It looks like there might be. Well, anyway, whatever. Moving on with our lives here today. They're just playing normal music. It's not like, oh, this is crazy. Is the only real explanation that they killed each other they killed each other simultaneously? Something very
just have
similar.
a stroke.
They killed each other, other. Miles Edgeworth, you should listen to someone until they are finished talking. What are you talking about? Only say it one more time. This is a competition to see who is truly worthy of the one common name. A competition? The person that figures out the truth first wins. So the person who doesn't discover the truth is a dishonor to the name? Exactly. I don't care that you became a prosecutor before me. I simply refuse to hear that more foolish things come from your foolishly foolish mouth.
She looks better with longer hair.
Are you saying... What are you freaking saying? Like, she has longer hair now, or she had longer hair back then? Or
she has longer hair back then.
Or in the future, whatever. I don't freaking know, man. Close
she has
enough.
short hair in the future.
Oh, I see. Okay, what? I'm so confused. Whatever. Manny Kochin, age 24, gender male, Kodopian embassy staff member. He was a suspect in the KG-8 incident. Francisco Monacarma, age 13, gender female. My mentor's daughter, studying in the prosecutor in Germany, back on break. So
she's always back somewhere.
We're talking 47 years difference, son. So yeah, there you go. Now you know. Now you know the truth. Fine, whatever makes you happy. Can I take that as you accepting my challenge? Once again, whatever makes you happy. Well then, let's begin the investigation, shall we? I'm going to find out the perfect evidence in the prettily present... what? And prettily present intellect... Oh.
Present.
I see. Oh, present. What? I'm so confused. And prettily present, it's like the best that I am. Competing to discover the truth behind a crime. How delightfully childish.
Not like you can talk or anything. Thought that was Gumshoe for a second. He got like shot up, and I didn't read that.
They didn't give me a chance to let you read it. Serves you right, Miles. He just called you a kid.
I said kids, kid. Except I don't know what the hell I said.
How dare you call me a kid as well?
I'll do what I please, and I won't allow you to cause a ruckus on my crime scene.
Why did he reach into his jacket again?
Hey, big guy, you're gonna watch over these two.
Yes, sir, Detective Bad, sir. Now do what I say from now on, kids, okay? You'd better not get in the way, Scuffy. You'll feel the bite of my whip if you do. Eek, then you, prosecutor boy.
Dude, there's no way Edgeworth is more than, like, frickin' 5 years younger than you. You have no right to be calling him boy.
I bet he's like 20, which would make him 6 years younger.
I said there's, like... You get my point.
Let's get your investigation started already, alright? Great. Now even that detective is treating me like a child. Alright, it's time to get investigating. Get a move on, prosecutor boys. My name is Miles Edgeworth. And if you were to call me prosecutor boy one more time, it will be my duty as a prosecutor to look into your monthly salary. What? And what would you do with my salary after you saw how much it was? That's up to you now, isn't it? Really sounds good, pal. He's so naive. Begin investigation.
Right to Gumshoe's salary.
What? I didn't hear what you said, man.
How would he have any right to Gumshoe's salary? Gumshoe isn't working for him yet.
Well, I mean, he's a prosecutor. They all have ridiculous power in these games.
I can't hear you.
Well, there you go. It's finally happened, everyone. It just took 4 episodes of this random thing to happen before you finally stopped hearing me.
It was happening all last episode, too. I commented on it.
I never heard you comment on it.
I said I can't hear you. I didn't hear what you said or something like that.
Defendant lobby number 2. Yeah, we don't know what the heck's going on. It's so confusing. It's really weird. We thought maybe, the 24 hours would have fixed it, but it didn't, so whatever. The Detective Bad, may I have a word with you?
No. What is it?
It appears that both a knife and a gun were used as murder weapons.
Yeah, it does.
That leads us to our first question of the investigation. Where did the men acquire the weapons?
The gun was inside of Faraday's bag. It was a piece of evidence that was presented in the trial earlier today. It was used to kill the Kodopian Embassy staff member. But I never heard anything about the knife. Mr. Rell was being held by police. There's no way you could have brought it in.
What kind of knife is that?
It looks like if you would put something over it, like, you see how the handle looks? If you would put something that looks like the handle over it, it looked like it would be like a platform and a platformer.
I guess a little bit. But to me, though, it just looks like Egyptian hieroglyphics. That's all
And giving his energy to Goku, Kamehameha.
Oh, don't tell me this. This guy better not be Borginian or something. I swear.
Which means it's possible that Faraday had the knife on him from the start as well.
Could it have been a piece of evidence that had yet to be presented? But then why doesn't Detective Bad know about it? Wait, what if it's possible that Mr. Faraday brought the knife in under the guise of prosecutorial evidence?
Why'd you get it right that time?
Because I am Miles Edgeworth. I am not Manfred von Karma. I memorize the script a lot better than he does. He could have then brought it out and attacked Mr. Rell with it.
No, you're every random character. Mega is Miles Edgeworth.
That is not true. I am Miles Edgeworth. I am only Miles Edgeworth. I am not played by a person. I am my own identity.
Maybe you've got a brain in there after all, kid.
See? He acknowledged my brain. Is he going to treat me like a child forever?
It looks like Mr. Faraday attacked Mr. Rell first, who then counterattacked. That's the only logical conclusion you can draw from a scene like this.
Not yet. I feel that it's much too early to be drawing conclusions already. I must first find conclusive evidence so as to ensure the honor of the Von Karma name.
Getting a little bit too into this, huh, Edgeworth?
What happened to freaking Francisca being my partner in this case? I was gonna be like, what is wrong with you, Miles Edgeworth? Or something like that. But no. I gotta have Gumshoe here. Because why not?
Why?
Yeah, pal! Why would Gumshoe react like that? He wouldn't react like that. Hey, so that's a prosecutor's badge, huh?
Didn't we already have a conversation about this?
You mentioned that you've only recently become a detective, did you not?
You got it, I'm a brand spanking new detective.
We already read this.
No, I didn't. So that means you've probably never seen a real
read this in the last
prosecutor's badge,
episode.
right? If you so happen to want to take a look at it, might you... Oh, no! Really? But it looks so new. And I thought because he was my investigation partner, he'd say something different now, but no. I don't get it. This doesn't make any... Oh, jeez, it made sense, man. Ugh. Excuse me, that's the whole truth, pal, I swear. So you were guarding the doors of the lobby at the time of the crime? And I'll have you know that, really? Are you sure after not even a single ad slipped in? Well, I guess if still talking about slipped in, then I may be a fog or something in. It would appear that my point was also completely slipped by you, Detective Gumshoe. What were you thinking? I'm going to start calling you Hair Forehead now.
I'm so excited, pal. This is my first real crime scene. Let's get investigating.
Detective Gumshoe. I thought investigations were supposed to be conducted in a calm, collected manner.
What do you know about how to run an investigation, little boy prosecutor?
I know that at the very least, I have a greater grasp than you of what happened here.
Why, you don't know any more than me, pal. Look, you just stay behind me, boy, and I'm out of the way.
Ironic coming from the guy that's been a step behind me the entire case. What, you mean you weren't 3 steps ahead of him, Edgeworth? Jeez. Oh well, that's what it is.
Shut up.
I was wondering if we're getting new profiles and that, but I guess not. Oh, wait, actually, we already had the profiles. Whatever, who cares? So that means I already looked at him in that case. Notice anything?
This is my first time setting foot inside the courthouse. Who would have thought it'd be for my first case as a detective? Well, you know, I get the feeling I'll be coming here a lot more in the future.
As a suspect detective?
Of course not, pal. Anyway, this lobby's actually pretty luxurious. I mean, for a defendant's lobby, it's got a pretty big TV. Oh, and there's that tea set on the table over there. Bet you didn't know that I like to drink tea. Wow, this room really is decked out. If it means spending time in here, maybe being a suspect isn't such a bad thing after all.
I'm beginning to suspect that leaving this detective in charge of anything might be bad. But he is right. This room is rather well furnished. And somewhere in this room, the truth is slumbering. It's time to find it and give it a wake-up call. Okay, well, what do you have to say about the murder? So, Detective Gesundheit.
Yeah, what is it, boy?
Of all the people to call me that, this detective is by far the least qualified. I wanted to ask you about how the investigation is proceeding.
See for yourself, pal. Ho-ho! Do I do a great detective bad or what?
Has this man not a professional bone in his body? Very well then. I will inspect the victim's bodies myself.
Alright then, Gumshoe, we'll go ahead and do exactly as you say, because why not? There's some stuff in the bag, pal.
I suppose this was Mr. Faraday's bag. It's probably the trial evidence I was supposed to collect from him.
This is the evidence? I'd better not touch it, I'll leave prints on it.
Do you just not pay attention to anything you do?
Why don't you wear gloves?
I expect there to be some evidence in there, but I guess not.
In
Whatever.
fact, you're at a crime scene. You should be wearing gloves anyway.
No kidding. Detective Bat, do you have any thoughts on this case?
Faraday.
Gesundheit.
God. Faraday and Rel. Looks like they killed each other to me. Although, there are a few things that just don't seem right.
And what would they be?
Why don't you try thinking on your own first before you bother me, boy?
What? Now I've been downgraded to just boy?
It can't be. Yeah, maybe that's something I'm wondering about. Actually, yeah, he's not wearing gloves either by the looks of it.
No.
Was there any sprite animation showing him reaching into his mirror or something? No? Okay, whatever. Yeah, it doesn't look like he has gloves though, so... But I'm just wondering though, because he doesn't wear gloves. I wonder if maybe that's why he became a suspect randomly.
I guess we'll see.
Whoa!
What is it, Detective Gumshoe?
My TV at home is so tiny compared to this one, pal. I've never seen a TV like this before. I didn't even know these
Shut
TVs
up.
existed yet.
I mean, it's true. Back during this time, they had like standard definition television. So why the heck is it now? It's even further in the past. Now the technology got greater all of a sudden. That makes no sense. And perhaps you should purchase a more normal-sized television.
Wait,
like
what?
this
What
one.
year is this supposed to be?
Like way before Phoenix Wright became an attorney.
This is supposed to be 7 years. Like, Phoenix Wright already takes place, or at least when it came out, already took place in the future.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying though. This is probably like
Hold on.
what? You're looking it up?
Yeah. Move on. I'm not gonna be talking.
Oh, let me see here. Wow, this thing is huge. Whoa! And way too noisy. You're the noisy one, Scuffy.
Oh, you're talking.
Don't touch it. You'll get fingerprints all over it.
Funny you say you're not gonna say anything, and then oh, never mind.
But I didn't touch it.
Preservation of the crime scene is the foundation of a detective work.
The
Of
power
detective.
of mana is the foundation of the world. Or the life of mana is the foundation
Shut
of
up.
No. The foundation, huh? Sounds like something the rookie here needs to shore up on. Okie dokie then. Wait, what? Oh. The window is open in heh. There's a fresh flower scent in the...
In fair?
No. And heh.
The flowers in the garden down there are so gross and ghastly.
I don't see any ghastlies down there. Well, there might be a haunter down there, but I don't see any gas leaks.
Shut up.
Do you think maybe you could try offering something useful for a change?
Well, at least there's no way someone escapes through this window, pal. They wouldn't wake up and smell the flowers after a fall from the 3rd floor.
Are you willfully ignoring the fact that there are also iron bars on the windows? Lobby number 2 window. No human can climb through these barred windows. The scent of flowers is in the air. What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, I guess there's that too. Either way, no one could get through these windows, right?
Are you still looking it up?
Yeah.
They thought of everything when they were designing this courthouse. Very nice.
Was it very nice now? There was some plastic bags stacked up on the table. There's a tea set too, but there doesn't seem to be any sign of a disturbance in the force.
Yeah, the table's all neat and tidy.
Neat and tidy table. Tea set and plastic bags on top of the table are completely undisturbed. Well, that's nice to know.
The first game is set in 2016, and this is what, like 5 years later? 3 or 4 years later? So 7 years after that would be somewhere around, what?
4 or 5 years earlier?
2012?
Well, yeah, but they
Between
were
2010 and 2012 is whenever this case takes place.
In 2016, they were using standard definition televisions. In 2012, they were using high definition televisions, apparently. So that makes no sense. They apparently had a technological downgrade randomly, and then just like,
it's just because of when the game came out. Because the first game came out in 2001.
I don't care when the game came out. They could have had some foresight to at least predict the Like, they didn't have to over-predict it, but they didn't predict anything. They just went with modern-day technology. Like, oh, we're going to be using modern-day technology for the next 15 years.
It's 2001!
You think we're going to be using this technology in the next 15 years? No! I mean, it's like a Phoenix Wright game that takes place in the 2030s that uses 2016 technology. It's going to be wrong. I mean, there's no way around that, because that's just wrong, man. It's just so wrong. They're quiet or something. I forgot to read that thing. After all, I didn't hear anything around the hallway,
What if they predicted it wrong? What if they predicted we'd be watching TVs in portrait with 3D that pops out of the screen?
It would be better to overshoot it than to undershoot it. I think.
Because I still know people who use tube TVs.
Regardless, though, they didn't even make a prediction, so that's how
tube
bad
TVs
that was.
are still in use to this day.
They basically just said that we'd be using the same technology 15 years in the future. That's basically what they said.
No, they
the
said
game.
that some people would still be using it.
Well, apparently everyone was.
Tube TVs are still used in court cases for VCRs and crap.
Everyone was still using tube TVs in 2016 in this game.
After all, I didn't hear
And they're still using basic cell phones too. I mean, no one's using smartphones in this game. It just doesn't make any sense.
Technically, this was... When did this game come out?
2010? Even
that's
not really an excuse.
2000. It came out in 2009, and smartphones weren't like amazingly huge. But even then, they're like the phones in this game have functions that phones like that shouldn't have.
If you're talking about Little Thief, that's literally like the one thing that's really weird. It's not. I don't even think it's a phone. I think
Little
it's just
Thief
a weird
isn't a
gadget.
phone.
Well, I haven't seen her make a phone call with
magically being able to transfer data, like without connecting it, is one thing.
You know they did that.
Phone.
They probably just used the USB connector or something.
She just connected it to her phone and transferred data. You can't do that.
How do you know?
You're an idiot.
Oh, I don't get it. Whatever.
After all, I didn't hear anything from out the hallway, you know.
Maybe the plastic bags scattered on the floor are throwing us off. Either way, they need to get the priorities straight. I mean, if they're gonna say something is for 2016...
You're the one with the incorrect priorities.
If they're gonna say something's the standard in 2016, they shouldn't be going forward in time in 2012. That doesn't make any sense. This decorative plant's foliage is quite nice. It's actually soothing to be around it.
You're the one with incorrect priorities.
How am I the one? It doesn't make any sense.
Because you're over-exaggerating
Perhaps
something
I
that
should
doesn't
purchase one
matter.
for my room. It does matter. It's a huge
Does not matter
inconsistency.
in the slightest.
It's a
Does not matter
gigantic
in the
inconsistency.
slightest. Does not matter
This
in the
must take
slightest.
the only thing that makes sense is this takes place in an alternate reality or something.
No.
It looks
just
like the
doesn't
sofa
matter.
is ready to be disposed of. Well, okay then, everyone, tell me it doesn't matter or not. You hate that there's a glaring inconsistency in this universe? You find it completely odd and glaringly obvious that, like, oh, they're using future technology in the past when they weren't using that in the present.
Why is this odd to you, but then you say some crap like, if you break, like,
What?
the whole spirit medium argument that you had in like a few episodes ago.
Because that's not technology? That's just freaking weird?
Okay, but it's perfectly fine. It's like you're the one that said
That shouldn't
if you have
be in
one
this
thing
universe.
shut up. You said if you have one thing that's
Oops.
unrealistic, then that opens the floodgate for anything that's unrealistic.
Not
You're the one that said
technology,
that
though.
earlier in this series.
Yeah, for like the supernatural, not technology.
It's fiction!
Dot, 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 dot. And actually, in that case, we were talking about countries, I think. So why the heck does that freaking matter in that case, too? You're comparing a supernatural thing to geography and technology. You can't
It's
compare
not
the three.
real! It's not real!
You can't compare the three. If only I could dispose of him.
You're so stupid.
Can't compare the three, man.
How not?
Because geography
Why are
has
they
nothing to do with the
incomparable?
supernatural, and technology has nothing to do with the supernatural, and also has nothing to do with geography.
This is not a real universe. This
Okay, but
universe
it uses
does
real
not play.
technology.
Shut up! I'm talking. This universe does not play by the logic of our universe. It plays by the logic of its own universe.
So 4x3 TVs is the wave of the future that didn't
You're
exist in...
so stupid.
They didn't use them in 2012, but they started using them in 2016. Oh yeah!
Obviously, they did use them in 2012 because Gumshoe says he didn't have a widescreen TV.
Because Gumshoe is dirt poor.
Obviously not.
It looks like Mr. Faraday fell on top of... What do you mean, obviously not? For all we know, Edgeworth has made him more poor. At first
It's
glance,
an exaggeration.
It seems like they must have killed each other, however. Using logic, the only logical conclusion is, aha! What was that outburst for? My detective's instinct just hit me real hard. I'm really curious what everyone's going to say about this, though. I know there's no way they're not going to agree with me on this, because this is just so wrong on so many
You
levels.
said the same thing about the Arthur and Harold debate, and I was right.
Oh, freaking well, man. Oh, freaking well. That's a character name that has nothing to do with this. Oh,
You say
jeez.
that about literally every time we have an argument about
This
something. There's
is
no
a-
way people would disagree with me, and 9
That's a
times out of
name.
10, they disagree with you.
That's a name. This is logic.
I think literally anything, anytime we've had an argument, you say that, like, there's no way people would disagree with you, and 9 times out of 10, they do.
It was Mr. Rel that first fell first seat. Well, people agreed with me that Metroid Prime was an American game, so I mean, whatever, man. So you don't need to.
I didn't say that it wasn't!
It's common sense.
That
But-
wasn't, like, that whole thing that you posted was flawed, because
I
that's not what I
suppose-
said!
I suppose we won't know much more than until after I examine the bodies. So yeah, literally everything with the Japanese ties is automatically Japanese, even if made by an American company.
Shut up,
I won't rest until I've inspected every
That's like me
suspicious looking
posting.
nook and
That's like
cranny.
me posting a poll saying the sky is blue and you saying no, it's green.
Looks like Mr. Faraday died
people are
while
gonna-
holding the gun in his right hand,
Of course, people are gonna agree with
So
me
he
because
shot
that's
Mr.
not what
Rel,
you said.
and then fell on top of him while gripping the gun. Grilling the gun? What the heck did I just say? Oh, I guess that does seem kind of strange, huh? I mean, why was this red on my gun? It's not exactly rocket science, even I know how to pull a trigger. Although I doubt I'll ever need to use one. I hope I never have to fire a gun either, pal. But it sure does look cool to hold a gun in your hands. It appears that the police's screening procedures need a thorough review. Anyway, I should jot down some notes about the handgun in Mr. Faraday's hand. Handgun data jotted down in my organizer. Well, that's cool, I guess. So, let's see what about this blood stain here. Why are there plastic bags scattered all about?
Those bags are for keeping evidence safe, pal.
I know that much, Detective.
You sure are good at this stuff, aren't you, pal?
Normally, I'd be happy when someone compliments me, but when it's this guy... Anyway, could these plastic bags be evidence of a fight between the two men? Plastic bags strewn about. Plastic bags used to store evidence are strewn all over the floor. Strewn is a weird word. I will just say that right now. It's a very weird word.
His hand is all black down here, see? I wonder what it could be.
If you look closely, this blotching pattern resembles an ink stain. Mr. Faraday has an ink on his left hand. Why is the ink on such a place anyway? He has an ink. Oh boy.
An ink stain.
Yes, I usually get ink on my own hand when I use my feather pen.
I usually get ink on my hand when I write with a pen too, and it's also the same thing when it's a pencil, so there you go. It happens.
And especially so with a pencil, because pencils suck. They just get lead all over your hand. In the worst way ever.
A feather pen? I've never seen one before. Sure you aren't didn't make it that. Pal? Are you a pal? It looks like Mr. Rell died with a knife in his hand.
With some blood stuck on it.
Then he must have used this as a weapon. No doubt about it.
Was Mr. Faraday carrying this on his personage? Did he bring this as a piece of evidence for the trial? Or did he bring it with a very different intention in mind? I should jot some notes down about it.
Knife data jotted down in my organizer. Type weapons discovered in defendant's lobby number 2.
Hey, let's check some evidence.
What? No, what? I didn't get to deduce anything?
Mr. Wells' cause of death was from being shot, correct?
Alright, handguns on type weapons discovered. Ah, that's nice. And now the knife. Weapons discovered in defendant's lobby number 2. I believe Faraday brought this as evidence it was found in Rell's hand.
Well, that's cool. Anyway. Correct.
That's what we think, but it's hard to tell with him lying face down.
Death is bad enough, but it's truly lamentable that someone would try to hide the truth.
Are you sure they were trying to hide something?
I can't confirm Mr. Rell's cause of death with his body position like that. Detective Bad, I'd like to examine the bodies in further detail if possible.
What's this? You're not able to form a theory with the way they are.
I believe an examination of the bodies is vital to finding the perfect evidence, don't you?
I suppose you had to have a point. Well, how do you have been making fun with it?
Larry.
Yes, sir. We've taken enough photos of the scene, sir.
And there you have it. ...
Dot 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 dot. Dot 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 dot. Do you not approve?
Of course not.
What?
Investigation of a crime scene is the work of a detective, so don't touch a thing. Hey, big fella, turn over the bodies for me, will you?
Oh, okay. Please forgive me, Mr. Faraday, sir.
Gumshoe, do not get emotionally involved. Remember, you're a detective.
Yes, sir. Understood, sir.
And flipped. Sweet. Now that's what I call a flip. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny again. And again. And one more time still. Mr. Faraday is holding a gun in his right hand.
That's the one Mr. Rell got blown away by, right?
Labby, you answer.
Yes, sir. We found the ballistic markings do match that gun.
Oh, ballistic markings are
the figurative fingerprints a gun leaves on a bullet when fired. Every gun leaves its own unique ballistic markings. Therefore, by looking at the markings on a bullet, you can tell which gun it came from.
Yeah, that's it, of course. I already knew about that, sir, pal.
Maybe you'd be better off going back to the academy.
Come on, sir. Cut me some slack, will ya?
So the bullet that was fired from this gun is what felled Mr. Rel.
Felled Mr. Rel. Oh, jeez. Somehow I should have known. Alright, knife, what's up?
It looks like Mr. Faraday was stabbed with his knife that Mr. Rel is holding.
Ouch!
What's wrong, detective?
My stomach started to hurt from just thinking about being stabbed.
Just keep your mind on the case, alright?
Well, you thought about that, but not the other part of the whole thing? Okay, then. You say so, man. So, let's see. What part of the body can be examined? Well, we can examine that. We can examine his face.
Mr. Faraday, how ironic it is for him to lose his life in a courthouse. Excuse me.
Yeah, why did it have to be like this? I don't know what to say. I can't believe this happened while I was on watch, pal.
Rather than beating yourself up, you should spend your time continuing the investigation. Didn't you become a detective in order to solve crimes?
Yeah.
Then get back to work. Find out the cause of his murder.
Right, I'm on it, pal.
Or are you? Maybe you're not on it, pal. Maybe you're something else. First you killed
a Kodopian embassy staff member, then he murdered himself.
This guy wasn't exactly an angel, you know. Oh, I would know a thing or two about Angel, that's for sure.
Oh, what makes you say that?
Well, he's been hauled into the precinct several times for theft and assault, pal. So yeah, he's definitely the type to have committed a murder or two. Oh yeah, sure. I see how it is now.
Well, he did admit to killing Mr. D-Man.
Hey, good point, pal. I knew my detective's intuition was telling me something.
Detective's intuition?
Yep. Do you know about it? It's a special feeling that all the
We don't have time for this conversation right now. Let's return to the investigation, because I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny.
Nothing but a necklace, really? Okay.
Well, I suppose there's something in his breast pockets. It's a fountain pen.
Interesting. Fountain pen in pockets. The fountain pen in the Mr. Faraday's pocket has an especially nice nib. What a nib! Hey, you know, I always keep a pencil behind my ear. Yeah, we pointed out last episode. It's because Detective Bad is always telling me you should always write your name on everything you own.
Yes, somehow you do strike me as quite a forgetful individual.
That is true, but I doubt he makes any use of that at all, so who knows. Aw, the scar pick in the hitbox. That's rather unfortunate. Well, what do I know? I don't know anything about this. Let's see, which one first? This one first.
Shot in the chest.
It takes some guts to fire a gun in a courthouse. I mean, I've been a detective for a whole week and I still haven't fired a single round yet.
There aren't any burn marks on his clothes. That must mean...
Wait, burn marks?
The round grows very hot as it is discharged from a firearm. Therefore, burn marks are usually left when a shot is fired from point-blank range. Ergo, Mr. Rel must have been shot from at least a yard or two away.
Handgun type, the weapons discovered in defendant lobby number 2. Handgun data updated in my organizer.
You sure do know a bunch of neat stuff for your age, pal.
Apparently this detective has as much common knowledge as your everyday marsupial.
What? Well, that's just really insulting, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. My goodness. There's a knife wound in his chest there, see?
I wonder if the wound matches the knife Mr. Rel is holding.
Hello? Labby!
Yes, sir.
Verifying now, sir. I think Gyakuten fell asleep.
I've spent the last, 10 minutes looking up ways to fix this, because I literally can't hear a word you're saying.
Oh. I thought you were just mad at our argument, because you just weren't saying a single thing.
I can't understand you.
Okie dokie then, whatever. Make it quick. Oh, well, we're gonna, I guess we're gonna just wrap this up, right? After we're done with this here, so whatever.
From the look of things, one can deduce that the knife Mr. Rel is holding is what killed Mr. Faraday. Let us now try to understand how the two men died. First, Mr. Faraday took the gun and the knife out from today's trial evidence. Then he aimed the gun at Mr. Rell and fired. However, Mr. Rell managed to grab the knife and counter Mr. Faraday while being shot. Then the two men fell together where they stood. That is my theory, in any case.
What a crazy way to go!
Still, something about that explanation that just doesn't seem right.
And we'll see what about that explanation doesn't seem right on the next exciting episode. Will Garkon find the issue to the ability to not be able to hear me? Will you guys prove that you agree with my opinion on technology not making sense? Will you, well, I mean, you didn't, I don't know. Did I even ask for your opinion on geography? I don't know. But whatever. Who cares? That episode's passed, so I'm not going to ask you about that. But do you agree on my technology theory? Let me know.
The way entertainment works is, like, the best example I can think of is there's an anime called Detective Conan, and I think it started, like, in the late 90s, or like in the 90s, or like the late 80s, somewhere around there. And they were still using, like, I don't even think they had cell phones whenever it started. And, like, maybe halfway through they got, like, flip phones, and now in the show they use smartphones. And
Well, unless
like,
it's
it was
based...
shut up, I'm talking. I think the last episode I saw was like 850 something, and they said that it hadn't even been a year since the show started, like, timeline wise in the show.
If it's not based off the real world, then that's fair game. But this is based off the real world, so it's not. That should not be fair game.
Technically, Detective Conan, to a degree, is as much based on the real world as this game.
And regardless, they at least went into the future. This game went into the past and got more technologically advanced. That didn't make.
Oh yeah, they do the same thing in Detective Conan all the time. That's how entertainment works. They use the technology of today whenever they're making the game. They don't try to predict future technology. No game does. Nothing does that.
Well,
that is supposedly set in the real world.
You know, because it's a TV show and a long-running one, granted, I don't agree with that, but I'll give it a pass just because it is a long-running TV show. But
technically, this is a long-running game. This is 10 years, 8 years, somewhere around there.
Well, they went very far into the future when they originally made this. If they didn't want to do that, then why didn't they just set it in the present day? Why did they have to be like, oh, let's do that?
I don't know. You think I work at Capcom?
That's my point, though. They went into the future for a reason, so why? This is why.
They did the same thing with Back to the Future.
I don't know what you mean.
Back to the Future is set, like, I think last year or this year, and that came out in what, the 90s or the 80s?
Well, I mean, at least they tried to predict the future.
Yeah, they predicted hoverboards.
I'd rather have them predict and fail than to not predict or underpredict entirely.
It's about being relatable to the technology of today.
I don't agree. Whatever. Bye, everyone. See you next time.